Scott Eizember has been on death row for 20 years and is scheduled to be executed in January. But first, he has a clemency hearing tomorrow, where he will ask the board to spare his life. But the daughter of the two murder victims will ask the board to let Eizember's death sentence move forward. Debra Wyatt has been fighting for justice for 20 years for her parents, AJ and Patsy Cantrell. She says she's relieved that fight is almost over, and she hopes tomorrow's hearing is her final hurdle.
AJ and Patsy Cantrell had celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary, and while they both had some health issues, they hoped to spend their golden years together. AJ was a well-known artist who painted signs all over the state and was a gifted musician who played guitar and fiddle. Patsy was a substitute teacher who collected antiques and went all out to make sure holidays were special for her three daughters.
We had a wonderful life, my two sisters and I. We all had a horse. We all had a horse to show in the fair and ride in the parades, and it was a gifted life. It really was.
Until October 18th, 2003, when Scott Eizember went looking for revenge against his girlfriend, who had filed a protective order and turned him into police after he held her hostage, beat her, raped her, and threatened to kill her. She fled to her mother's home in Depew, a house that happened to be right across the street from AJ and Patsy. Eizember needed a place to watch, so he broke into their home, found AJ's shotgun, loaded it, and put 2 boxes of shells into his pockets. He was rooting around in the fridge when they came home. Patsy talked to him about her faith, and Eizember says at one point AJ grabbed for the shotgun and Patsy was shot. Then Eizember beat AJ with that shotgun and dragged them both into the bathroom. Eizember then drank a Dr. Pepper and ate some chips and salsa, all while listening to AJ struggling to breathe. Eizember has blamed others for his crime spree, including his girlfriend and even AJ. But Debra says there's only one person at fault.
It was all him.
Right.
You can't really blame it on anybody else but him.
Eizember went across the street and shot his girlfriend's teenage son, then beat the girlfriend's mother with a shotgun. The son ran to his truck to get help, and Eizember jumped in the back as the boy took off on a wild ride through town. Eizember shot the boy again through the back windshield until the boy crashed and got help.
We're after a cold-blooded killer.
Eizember spent the next 37 days hiding from hundreds of officers. He stole food and clothing during the massive manhunt and eventually stole a car. When it ran out of gas, a kindly doctor and his wife offered Eizember a ride. But Eizember forced them to drive him for the next 6 hours at gunpoint, threatening to kill them. Until finally the doctor pulled a gun and shot Eizember several times, which led to his arrest. The jury found him guilty. He got 150 years for killing Patsy, life for shooting the boy, 10 years for beating the mother, and death for killing AJ.
The jury gave it to him, not us. It was the jury. And I think it's past time to carry it out.
Debra says bloggers and others now want to say Eizember doesn't deserve to die, but she says they are being swayed by his lies and his playing the victim and talking about his sad upbringing. She says lots of people have it tough growing up, but they don't commit violent murders.
I wrote him a letter about halfway through this deal and told him I forgave him, not for him, but for me.
But it doesn't mean you don't want to see the sentence carried out.
Does not at all. Didn't change that one bit, not at all.
She says once Eizember is executed, it'll be the end to what she calls the final chapter of the most horrifying experience of her life. She's used her voice to be her parents' voice all these years, but now she's ready to be done with this fight, the trials, the appeals, the court delays, so she can finally enjoy her own golden years.
At the hearing tomorrow, Eizember will be allowed to speak twice, and those in support of him will be as well. Debra says she hopes she can convince the Clemency Board that the only fitting ending to Eizember's reign of terror is an execution on January 12th.